To the general public, I'm going to be playing another audio record of a victim who PWAN real estate company, the real estate company that is selling receipts to people instead of land. To the general public, I'm getting some information that most of the estate and lands that PWAN sold to people.
PWAN real estate company. PWAN real estate company. The company that is selling receipts for people. A PWAN
real estate company. Una for not release am. I be don dey plan.
PWAN real estate company. It don't reach 3 days. Scott IGUMA still dey locked up.
I know that you must have seen this video of Scott being arrested. You must have seen him called PWAN severally, that the company that sells receipts instead of land. And I need to react to this particular video because this is my industry. I need to talk about it. There are some things that you should not just overlook because it's either you or your client or somebody has fallen into a victim. So listen to me carefully because there's one or two things we can actually get from this particular story. It's better to look at it critically and get what you should get from, not just fear, not just raise a scam, not just you cannot invest in Africa, nobody's trusted. No, it's not about that. It's about what can you take from this whole saga. Let me start with this. Before I continue, I want us to listen to the owner of PWAN and listen to what he has to say first before I say my own thoughts.
Customers of the PWAN family, good day. Our promoters, good day everyone. My name is Dr. Augustine Onwumere. In the wake of things happening around the real estate industry, not just PWAN, I want to make some assertions and some declarations here and today. I started PWAN with my wife 13 years ago, and we have nothing to do with duping anybody. We have nothing to do with scamming anybody. It is too far from me. We are too responsible to be getting involved with such names, and we are ready to solve anybody's problem. Real estate, landed businesses, PWAN business, comes with a lot of challenges, especially
What this whole saga is all about. The main issue here is allocation. That is giving who have bought land allocation. That is the main issue. So I like to look at issue from the roots. The main issue here has been allocation. And how did it get to this point? How did PWAN get to this point? But let me just give you a brief of what I know about PWAN. PWAN happened to be one of the first company that came into real estate and turned it to something massive that make getting land more affordable with good intention. With good intention. And note, Austin, I actually know him very long time before he ventured into real estate. I actually know him because I used to work with Society Digest before, and he used to come to that platform. The owner of Complete Sport, the owner of Society Extra. So he used to come to that point, and I used to work with that company because we used to organize training, and he used to come to that platform. So I actually know him before he ventured into real estate because what he was doing then was MLM business. It was into MLM business. So he ventured into real estate, bringing the MLM, the multi-level marketing vibe into real estate, and that made his business to blow up, which is the system is using till date. So he did not venture into real estate in purpose of scamming people. That is not what he decided to do. But let me let you know this. As you venture into a new business and the money is sweet, there's every tendency that there will be mistake. Be sincere, there will be mistake. And that early mistake, I believe that he did at the initial part of the business is what is coming back to him now. That is what I think. Let me move away from Austin, but let me give you a typical example, other example. There are different companies that venture into real estate doing what we call land banking. They went into places like Ibejuleki early 2000 to start buying properties. I know Ibejuleki then was damn cheap. Most of the land there does not have title. And you going in at that early stage, you make good money because you can buy a land. Let's say you buy a land for 50,000 now. You can end up selling the land for 500,000 now. Still imagine from 50,000 now to 500,000 now. So those who venture into land at that early stage, they actually make sweet money. The problem was that those land does not have title. When government came later to start doing what they call excision in that property. All those land were taken. And those early company, they missed those land. They couldn't take possession of that land because the land did not have title. Government came, take some of those land and allocate to Dangote, take those land and allocate to other companies. And before you know what happened, those estate companies that have sold those land to those people who bought it for the purpose of land banking, they cannot possess the land because that land has been taken away from them. In that case, what happened? Companies can't allocate land. And where's the money? They've eaten the money. And if they want to refund the money, will they refund the money based on the rate at which those people bought or based on the current rate? That is where some estate company, which I know several of them that fall into that trap because of the venture into buying property that doesn't have title, and government came in and took those property, and they cannot allocate land that they don't have. The same thing that happened in Ibejuleki also moved toward Ekpe houses. Currently, you will hardly see companies selling Ekpe property that doesn't have title because the same thing is happening there. Ekpe opened up, people rush in there, start buying on title land, and now government have planned about Ekpe, and now government want to use part of Ekpe. So government have to take some of those land, and if you've bought land in some of these estates, and government are taking those land, no way the estates can give you allocation. It's not possible. I'm just sharing this idea so that you can know where this thing is coming from, because I will still tell you what the solution is so that you don't fall victim. That is what some of these estate companies are currently passing through, and some of these problems, some of them are facing this problem, and the problem is still pressing up. The sad news is this: some people who are victims do not know yet that is a problem, because they are still doing payment plan, they are still paying for the estates. Some of them are still paying for documentation, which is one of the things which I'm going to make reference to. Sit tight, let me take it further, because the main problem now is allocation. PWAN, they are not allocating. We are not allocating because of, maybe possibly from what the CEO said, delay in allocation. They have challenge with the land, they have challenge with title, some of the land was taken away from them, so there's no way they could allocate. Does that mean that they are scam? No, PWAN is not scam, but there's a problem somewhere. Number one thing I make reference to is allocation. Another thing I make reference to the title. Take note, if you want to buy a property, I would strongly recommend from henceforth try and buy a property that have title. It is more safer. Try to avoid property that doesn't have a title. Then another thing you should take note of, when you're buying property, please kindly ask for the developmental fee. Be ready to pay for the developmental fee. Don't delay. Because most estates, if you don't pay for the developmental fee or the documentation fee, they will not allocate you. And imagine you buying property last 5 years and you refuse paying for the developmental fee and also the documentation fee. The truth is this: when you come back after 5 years, you will not pay that same fee again. Some estate company will use that opportunity to make sure you don't get allocation, because that land has developed to some extent. They are seeing it as they can sell it to somebody else and delay you unnecessarily and even reallocate somewhere else. So if you want to buy a property, try to see how you can buy the property at a go. Pay for your land, pay for your documentation, pay for your developmental fee is very, very important. Then also note in your sales agreement, make sure that whatever you agree with the company, it is there in your sales agreement. I'll give you one recent practical example. I bought a couple of acres of land from a particular company because sometimes we also buy from companies too, in case we don't want to pass through the stress of going through Mule, depending on the location. If the company have gotten the land in bulk, we can still go there and buy those land in bulk from those companies also, even though we pay higher, but to make us not to pass through that stuff of going from one family meeting to the other and the rest, because the company have done that part. I bought this property from this company, and the agreement was this: immediately I pay the first payment, allocate it to me. So I did the first payment. I was quite busy. Then I did not follow up. After I discovered that I made the second payment, the company did not allocate to me, and it was there in the sales agreement that immediately the first payment there should be allocation. So immediately that happened, immediately I called the owner of the company. I said, our agreement is simple. After my first installment, allocate the property because it's acre of land. It's couple of acres of land. So I insist that I will not make the third payment without allocation. And after everything, that was what happened. The next week, the surveyor that was busy, the time was created because they want to collect their third installment. Of course, they went there, they did allocation, and everything was good to go. The reason why that happened, because in the sales agreement, we made it clear that allocation will be done immediately the first payment. I know this kind of agreement, allocation being done after the first payment, most of the time may not be possible with most real estate company, because most estate company will want you to finish paying before you get allocation. But in this our case, since the company is buying from another company, don't couple business together, and the truth is this, we want to resell it. So these are some of the agreement that company does in order to get their allocation. So make sure that you have your agreement on your sales agreement. It's very, very important. Then another thing which I want to make reference to, is it possible for PWAN to do refund to all these clients that Scott has make reference to? The truth is it will be difficult to some extent, because some of those property, I don't know the quantity of property, but it will be somehow difficult. What most company does is they try to see how they can, if there's a problem in a particular land, they try to see if they can move that person to another property. In that case, it will not be too heavy on them. But when the number of properties that have problem are much, and the company want to pay back, it will not be that easy. It will be that easy. The reason why some of the company that Scott actually called to pay back, it was easy for them because their project was just small projects, possibly maybe one high-rise story building or two high-rise story building. Where to some extent their margin profit might not be that much. But in this case, whereby there are several properties that have issue, the tendency of a company that have several land that have issue refunding, the tendency of refunding is very, very low. But of course, is there a solution? Yes, there can be reallocation. If estate A have problem and they have estate B, it's almost similar, they can actually move them to estate B. So to cut this whole video short, what can you learn from this? What I would recommend you do if you want to buy property from any company, try to make sure that you go with a realtor that have you in mind. That's the first thing first. The realtor must have you in mind. The realtor is not just after his commission, he must have you in mind. Then if a realtor have you in mind, a realtor will tell you if a particular company is a company that you should work with or not. Note, this video is not to spoil any company. I'm just using what is happening, the trend that's happening, to discuss. So we're not spoiling PWAN, we're not spoiling the company, but I'm just letting you know that this is what you need to know. You need to know, because sometimes initial step might not be for fraud. So the current state might not be for fraud, but there might be problems that are not handled properly because of lack of communication, which is one of the challenges some of these people made, that they contact and there was no reply. Sometimes when you have too much resources, you're not accessible, and when there are too many problems, you try to clear your head and travel out of the country to see what you can do. But the reality is this: I also believe that if there is a regulation in Nigeria regulating this sector very well, putting the requirements for who can be a developer, not just money, I think it will go a long way. So this is just my thought to just share about this PWAN saga with Scott. I will strongly recommend that you follow me on this channel, because what we do, we help Nigerians in diaspora, we help Nigerians in Nigeria, and non-Nigerians who want to invest in Lagos, Nigeria. So if you're looking at getting a property, don't allow this to discourage you. Don't allow it to discourage you, but rather learn from it and see what you can do in this whole thing. So once again, my name is Dennis Song. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Bye for now.